How do you sort of trade this market, or how do you live with this kind of volatility which we've seen 10 days?
I think the strategy is to stay defensive. The strategy, unless you're a trader, is to stay in cash. Okay. And
Sandeep, let me start by asking you. Has this market found some sort of a near-term bottom last week? 2 days now, we've had a bit of calm.
Yeah, the last time I was on your show was in November, and then I had mentioned that the downside for the market was 56 to 5800. The November low was 5690. The December low was 5725, and so far the Jan low has been 5625. It's been broadly in that range. I had given a sell call the last time I was on your show. I think to put things in perspective, last few days we've last couple of days we've started seeing net institutional buying. Prior to that, even for 4 or 5 days, as the market was relentlessly falling, we didn't see any net institutional selling. FI selling was offset by local buying. So what's really happened is that everybody's come around to this bearish view. Everybody's on the same side of the trade, and to that extent, we've seen some good results which have come in, whether it's TCS and a few other results have been quite good. And typically the first half of the results season always tends to be much better. So from that perspective, the market may have found a temporary bottom, and we might see a pullback rally from here. However, given the broad local macro headwinds, given the fact that on most fronts we have a fair amount of issues: interest rates, inflation, commodity prices, comatose parliament, corruption scams, you name it, and we've had it. I think the strategy would still, if the market rallies, would be actually to take some profits and take some money off the table again. And I'd just like to put things in perspective. Since the election results in May 09, only in July, post the budget, we had a 20% correction. After every quarterly result, we had a 10% correction. Till last year, then for 6 months, we didn't have a correction. Now we are having a correction every month. And it's for local reasons, unlike earlier when it was all for global reasons. So something has obviously changed, and in terms of sentiment and so on and so forth. It's difficult to see FIIs this year or in the near term pumping in a lot of money unless stocks sell off. It's difficult to see, domestic investors buying significantly because they're not seeing any inflows. Retail HNI has been scared off of the market because of all the scams and so on and so forth. So from that perspective, I think post that you could see a bigger correction. And
one more way this correction is different. We've had 5 such falls, and we were looking at some of the data since March 2009. June was the most severe.
Yeah, June, July, yeah.
Started in June, and the market bottomed out in July. So in all these 5 corrections, the index, Nifty or the Sensex, that corrected on an average about 11.5%, which is pretty much in line with this one. Sure. But mid caps and small caps this time around have taken a battering.
Absolutely.
20% odd cut to the mid cap, 26 odd % cut on the small cap index, sure, compared to an average, sure, correction of about 14-15%, sure, in the last 5 corrections. Sure. Does that worry you as well? Do you sort of attach importance to that, the way they've been slaughtered? Because on a portfolio levels or an index level, it might look like you're down 10%. Sure. But portfolios are reflecting much larger losses. Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if you look at some of the infrastructure stocks, there are infrastructure stocks which are not small caps, which are large liquid mid caps, are down 50-60%. Okay, and that in just 2-3 months. So that's exactly what I was saying, that the retail and HNI, they have lost a lot of money in the small and mid caps. And remember that it's, they have corrected because, there have been speculators involved. But, the speculators also have a following, either people who follow them blindly, or there are other people who've just bought the stock because of the sheer momentum. And all those guys are out of the market. So to that extent, you're absolutely right, because it's going to take that much longer to bring these guys back into the market. And, unless something changes dramatically, or we see a market sell off so significantly that everything gets into the price, and at some point of time buying starts coming in again, that could be the other thing. But yes, I think it's going to take some time for retail and HNI to come back into the market.
Right, Sandeep, just